You hear that sound? That iconic, almost spooky laugh from the African savanna. You and I, we hear that and we think it's pure wild amusement, right? But what you're hearing, well, it has absolutely nothing to do with a hyena finding something funny. So, what is so funny? The short answer is absolutely nothing. That sound is actually a doorway into one of the most complex and fascinating communication systems in the entire animal kingdom. And trust me, it reveals a social life that is way more intense than you can probably imagine. Okay, so let's really break this down. That infamous laugh is no joke. It's actually the key to understanding the high-stakes, kind of ruthless social structure that defines a hyena clan. It's less about humor and a whole lot more about hierarchy. And the contrast here is just, it's everything. What sounds like a good time to us is really the sound a hyena makes when it's communicating stress, frustration, and crucially, its social status. So we're not talking about a simple laugh. This is a complex signal that gets busted out in moments of really intense pressure, especially when there's food on the line. And hey, don't just take my word for it. Neuroscientist Frederick Thunison hits the nail on the head here. This sound, this vocalization, is a direct response to conflict. Just imagine the tension when all these hyenas are scrambling for a piece of a kill. That's when you hear what scientists call the giggle. It is a sound of pure desperation, not delight. So if it's not a laugh, what is it actually saying? Okay, this is where it gets really, really cool. That giggle is basically a vocal badge of honor, or, submission. It communicates incredibly specific information about where that hyena stands in the clan. A single one of these giggles is just jam-packed with data. Research shows it can tell other hyenas the caller's age, their specific identity, and, this is the big one, their rank. A lot of the time, it's used by lower-ranking hyenas as a sign of frustration when they're getting pushed around. It's almost like a cry for help. It's wild. You can literally hear the hierarchy. A dominant, high-ranking hyena, their giggle is lower-pitched, more even. But a subordinate's call is much higher-pitched and way more all over the place. A hyena can tell who's who in the pecking order in an instant, just from the sound. And here's the kicker. This isn't just some passive signal. Oh no, it's an active tool. Dominant hyenas will use these sounds to intimidate and bully others, constantly reinforcing that strict social order whenever there's a dispute over food or anything else. But the giggle, that's a close-range thing. So what happens when you need to communicate across a huge, sprawling territory? Well, let's move on to their other main vocalization, a sound that is literally engineered for distance. Get this. A hyena can hear a kill from up to 10 kilometers away. That is over 6 miles. When your territory can be hundreds of square kilometers, you're going to need a communication system that can really travel. And that's the massive challenge they face, right? Hyenas live in what's called a fission-fusion society, which just means the clan members are often scattered all over the place, maybe foraging alone or in tiny groups. So how on earth do you rally a clan that can have up to 125 members when you need backup? The answer is the whoop. This is their long-distance call. It's a sound totally unique to spotted hyenas that can travel for up to 5 kilometers. This is the sound they use to round up the troops, to defend their turf, and just to find each other in the vast darkness. And this brought up a really big question for scientists. When a hyena hears a whoop from kilometers away, what information are they getting? Does the whoop just say, hey, one of us is calling? Or does it say, hey, it's Susan calling? So you've got 2 basic ways this could work. A group signature would be like a shared accent or dialect for the whole clan. It would simplify everything down to just us versus them. But an individual signature, well, that would be like a unique vocal fingerprint for every single hyena. So, researchers put it to the test using machine learning, and the results were, well, they were stunning. The algorithm could identify the individual hyena calling with incredibly high accuracy. But trying to figure out which clan that hyena belonged to, it was no better than a random guess. This was the proof. Their whoops are unique vocal fingerprints. Now, just stop and think about what that means. This isn't a simple friend or foe system. Each and every hyena has to learn, remember, and recognize the distinct voices of more than 100 other individuals. That is an incredible cognitive challenge. So how do you make sure that unique signature, that fingerprint, gets through clearly over such long distances? Simple: repetition. A single whoop gives a clue, sure, but each whoop that follows in a series, what's called a bout, makes the listener more and more certain about exactly who is calling. It's a really clever way to beat the noise and the distance. Okay, so why go through all that trouble? Why have such a complex system? Why is knowing these specific individuals so much more important than just knowing if they're a clanmate? Well, it all comes back to their incredibly complex social life. Because, let's be clear, a hyena clan is not some happy little family. They are ruthless, matriarchal hierarchies. Every single female outranks every single male. Your rank determines everything, especially whether you get to eat. And, crucially, alliances can completely shake up this hierarchy. Who you know and who's got your back matters immensely. I love this analogy from The Lion Whisperer because it just nails it. It's like a cutthroat corporate ladder out there. Today's ally could be the one organizing a coalition to take you down tomorrow. It's a world of constant social maneuvering. And that is why individual identity is everything. Knowing exactly who is calling tells a hyena everything it needs to know to make a split-second decision. Is it a high-ranking ally who needs help? A low-ranking rival you can just ignore? Your own kid? Every single choice, to run, to fight, to help, depends on knowing the caller's identity. So, when you boil it all down, what's the big takeaway? These vocal fingerprints are so much more than just sounds. They are the essential technology, the social glue that allows this incredibly complex, competitive, and spread out society to actually function. It is the network that holds the whole thing together. And here's something to chew on. We've only talked about 2 of their calls, but spotted hyenas have something like 14 different vocalizations: groans, squeals, growls, you name it. So if the laugh and the whoop are already this packed with information about status and identity and intent, it really makes you wonder, doesn't it? What other secrets are they telling each other out there in the dark?